What's going on? This is Vandal DAOrecords and my man Ian Preebz, aka Savage Preebz, Blackheart Honeymoon. How's it going, man?
It's going well.
Awesome, thanks. I know that we do a bunch of stuff in the metaverse, Bit Trees and DAOrecords and DAO Drops, and this is actually going to be part of DAO Drops as a founding partner of the DAO Drops initiative. It's kind of cool for me to be interviewing you this time as opposed to being on the other end of the interview.
Yeah, totally.
Nice. So I want to talk about your song, man. The song coming out on DAOrecords. That is Atoms and Automaton. Geez, I still didn't say it
Yeah,
properly, did I?
yeah. Atoms and
Automatons.
automatons. Yeah.
Automatons. Sounds like I guess maybe I like wontons too much. It's kind of confused me there.
They are good.
So tell me about automatons. I quickly looked at it while we were talking before the interview, but let me hear it from you.
Yeah, so the song's like very existential, and so the reason why I title it Atoms and Automatons is it's sort of a nod to determinism, right? Because people talk about whether we live in a deterministic universe, right? So if it is a deterministic universe, we don't have free will. So it's sort of like a reference of like whether we are in fact automatons, right? Like we are these, like, I like to call people meat robots,
Is that kind of like
so
sheep as well? Or would sheep be a good like robotic automaton?
yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like sort of, it's like I don't know. Have you seen Devs?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It's
saw
kind of
that
like
one.
the show Devs. Like, do we live in a
Hmm.
deterministic universe or not? And I wrote this song in a very like existential phase of my life.
And okay, so let me just double check what we're okay. So we got the post that's up. Well, it's not up. Well, it'll probably be up when you're reading this over
Yeah.
on Scent. So there's a description that you wrote about the song here. It's going to be on the NFT, a description, and then there's also words from Dab Dragon. Now, since
Yeah.
Dab Dragon is not here on the interview, and he is a big part of this collaboration, specifically for this audio NFT collaboration, um, maybe you can tell us a bit about the artwork that he created, and then after that, I can read his paragraph.
Yeah. So I I came to Dab Dragon just because I like, not only do I like Dab Dragon's art, but I like Dab Dragon's like ethos. Like I like him as a person, and he's like from the first time I played the Token Smart Whip, like he was just like, dude, I love your music, and we totally hit it off. And now we're like just like internet buddies. And so when I first asked him, I was like, hey, like you're this really awesome artist. Would you be interested in do? And he was super excited. And he actually went through a lot. He worked super hard on it, and he came out with a bunch of different versions of this, and he just sat with the song and listened to the song and created the art, and he'd be like, is this work, this isn't working. And he went through this, like, it was a very, seemed like a very like labor and love intensive process, you know. Like he definitely put a lot of really hard work into it, and he wanted to make it perfect so that when you were listening to the song it matched up. And he really gravitated towards the like sense of like infinity in the song, and like atoms specifically.
The piece reminds me of like a morphing jellyfish in a
Yeah,
lot of ways, and it has that sort of fluid kind of underwater kind of movement. At least that's the impression I had. But with the colors that are kind of dark and contrasting,
yeah,
and make it sort of that I don't want to call it Blade Runner, but that sort of neon cyberpunk maybe
yeah, totally.
elements to it. And yeah, I thought it was a really amazing fit. And okay, so let me jump into the words of Uncle Dab himself here and what he wrote. After listening to the song, I went through many renditions that would speak to the visual aspect of what I was hearing. infinity was what I was trying to encompass in the digital effects, just as the music took me to a different place. I wanted the viewer to be carried away into another realm of existence and feel the art along with the music. So, words from Uncle Dab himself. Awesome.
Yeah, I think it's interesting too that he said he wanted to encompass infinity, like the sort of the juxtaposition of encompassing something that is completely unable to be encompassed, right?
So now that like we're kind of venturing into this sort of new world of music and NFTs and blockchain and releasing in new ways on a sort of a totally new format. Having your previous work and with Blackheart Honeymoon and performing and doing gigs and kind of making music how we were before all this in a lot of ways. How has the transition been for you as an artist, as a person, your experiences so far, and how does it feel now to like be like dropping your first audio NFT?
Well, I think that I'm still sort of wrapping my head around it all. Like, I will say that the community surrounding this, the metaverse and around art within these spaces is cares way more about art than I've played a lot of shows and I've had a lot of like really good interactions with people, but it seems like every single time I'm playing music or doing something in the metaverse, people are incredibly excited. Like the amount of engagement I get and feedback as an artist, like even though it's through this like digital medium of us connecting via whether it's Discord or Zoom or whatever, I feel like the community is somehow more tightly knit and closer, than like just playing a gig at a bar. Because I think a lot of times what happens is people have places that they like to go that also just happen to have music, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they don't necessarily, they're not there for the art. And I think it takes a lot of exposure and a lot of playing to get to the place where people are coming out just to see you specifically. And I certainly experienced that as a musician, but it's hard. Like you have to play a lot, you have to play frequently, but then you also can't play too much. So there's this weird sweet spot where you have to be. So it's a lot. Like I don't think that people realize like how much work it is being a musician, and I think that this is also work, but I feel like the payoff versus the amount of work that I'm putting in is greater in this space.
You touched on a great point about the community and the support and sort of like the appreciation of what each person has to offer.
Yeah.
As a musician, as an artist, and the Discord community I find is quite interesting because we've worked with Token Smart, and then there's the Whale Community Discord and Bittrees and DAOrecords Discords. Um, yeah, it's kind of like the level of engagement and the feedback I think is quite different than you would maybe have through, let's say, your group of friends or in your physical location, or like what you said about people going to bars or clubs or restaurants where there's live music, but just being there, for dinner or just having a drink or hanging out. So there seems to be more distractions as well in
Yeah.
that sense. Whereas, Discord and listening and being in cryptovoxels is quite engaging and on your computer, chilling wherever you are, or on your phone, right? Um,
Yeah.
so speaking of cryptovoxels, the venue for DAO drops is created by yourself. Your first build.
Yeah.
How was that? Like, how was the process for you about like placing the blocks, the colors, doing the textures? Like, maybe walk
So
us through.
there's Yeah, so I think there definitely was like a learning curve to it. Um, and I think that once you start getting it, it clicks. But halfway through the process, I deleted all the textures to the building and was like, oh my God. And I figured out really quickly it was an easy fix. But literally right after I fixed it, the entire building disappeared. And I was like, okay. So I sat down and just like another 5 hours, cranked it out. But I will say, because that happened, A, I think the building looks cooler, and B, I think that I really learned, like, the only way you're going to learn how to build in crypto voxels is by doing it and
Mm-hmm.
making mistakes. And the best part about it is you can change it. Like, literally, if you don't like something, you can change it.
Yeah.
It's not like building a house where you have to tear a wall down, you know? Like, yeah, there's some buttons you need to hit, but it's like, and I'm sort of learning, like you can, I don't know, you can imagine it and apply it so quickly that you can sort of play with your own imagination,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I will say I did have some help with from Jonathan from Raging Bitcoin from Bittrees. Like, I put up the bones and then he kind of put the meat in there, you know what I mean? And then we just started bouncing back and forth. And I think it's a nice template for a space like this in crypto voxels.
So what do you have to say to everybody out there? Because they're watching, they're going to be watching this now on CryptoVox. You're going to be there too. You're going to be watching it too.
I will. I will be
We're
here
both going to be
watching.
there,
Yeah.
watching ourselves.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming. I hope you like the NFT.
Yeah. Get that NFT. It's on the wall over there. Or is it over there?
It's going to be
Somewhere.
somewhere.
Over there. Atoms and automatons. The last word still trips me out a bit. Automatons. Maybe it's just getting used to the sound of it in my head. First, I love the concept though, because it kind of is, in a way, it's like our avatars in CryptoVoxels too. You
Right?
know,
Yeah, that's cool.
they're virtual automatons,
Yeah.
and then we're there. They're our puppets, and we're speaking through them through discords and chats and stuff. Soon
Yeah.
they'll talk to us or talk for us. Anyway, I digress. So okay, so kind of thinking where to go from here for the questions, but how, like, I wanted to dive into audio NFTs a bit more, but
Yeah.
then I was thinking, like, maybe I wanted to get your thoughts about what happens next once we kind of get back to normal, or do you, like, how do we feel about getting back to normal and the world going back to the way it was, and touring and getting out and playing gigs again, and how would this sort of incorporate into that world? It seems all like this kind
Right.
of distant alternate reality in a way. I
Yeah.
don't know how you're feeling about that, but imagine, like, next month you can get out and play gigs again. What's the feeling?
I mean, I think that I'm just going to incorporate it into my life, you know? Like, I feel like I found like a place where I belong, and I found a place that's really supportive. And I don't think it's the kind of thing that's going to go away. Is it going to change? Like, yeah. I mean, I think that people are going to find a balance between interacting with the metaverse and interacting with the real world, right? And I don't see myself just completely, like, I think that audio NFTs are sort of the future of music for artists. So it's not like I'm going to just stop releasing NFTs, you know. If anything, it's just another tool in the tool belt, you know. And like, would I like to get back to playing live shows? Yeah, but I kind of already am playing live shows right now, you know. Like, I've played more live shows like via live stream than I did for like the rest of the year, you know, previously, right? So I can play 3 or 4 live shows in my city, in my area, maybe, you know, drop a couple $1,000 and go on a tour. Or I could be playing for people in Italy, Venezuela, Mazatlan, like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then have pizza from my favorite pizza place because I'm in the comfort of my own home, in my neighborhood, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I do think it's a thing that we'll have to. And here's the thing too, like, how often is it, like, do musicians make money from shows? Like, I've definitely made good money from shows, but on average, it's usually like breaking even when you think of like printing out posters, making merch, doing all this stuff. Like, if you make any money for the show, it just goes right back into the band. So like, it ends up being a zero sum game anyways a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
times, you know.
Fueled by passion,
Yeah, I
definitely.
mean, Yeah, well, like I definitely don't play music for the money. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I always say it would be really great if I could make the like just an average wage, right? Like if it was like the median average of the American income, if that's how much I made and I could just play music, I'd be the happiest man on the planet, you know? And some years I've made a fair amount of money off music and some years I haven't, but I don't do it for the money, obviously. Like it's because my purpose for existence is to make music. Like it's literally like that's what I'm here for. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's so amazing, just like the opportunities of that this space has kind of brought along to everybody. In that we can still, in many ways, do the live performance, even though it's not on a stage in that sort of setting. It's more casual or informal, and there's less pressure in many ways. I've noticed, and what I really liked is that you can you can kind of just be you in a lot of ways, where there's no sort of prejudgment or judgment, based on like stepping on stage and someone seeing you for the first time. It's kind of like that avatars and acronyms and anonymity and crazy. I don't know, just like the characters of people on Twitter and in the metaverse. Everyone has their own unique character, which is really cool in that sense.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, people from all over the world get together and are in there and they have these experiences together and share it.
Yeah. When like it's funny because everything that we do, like when we whether it's in real life or in the metaverse, it's all an avatar, right? This sweatshirt is part of my avatar, right? Like I bought this because what does this say about me, you know? And like these glasses, right? And it's like it's the same thing for the avatars that I have in, you know. I mean, granted, I'd like to have more wearables and crypto voxels, but it's sort of the same. Like you never see the complete representation of a person, right? We're all these fragments of avatars, like whether it's our social media presence or our IRL presence, right?
Yeah, I think it's about that time to say what's up to Anonymous. Hey, Anonymous. All the avatars named Anonymous. It'll be nice, once things get a bit better with crypto voxels in terms of logging in and not having anonymous names. But there was something that came out on the Twitter today about crypto voxels incorporating the audio and video NFTs in world to be able to play back.
Yeah, I saw something
So
about that.
yeah, I think that's a really good. I think that would be really good, rather than having the display page pop up where it shows OpenSea and like you're on the web page, kind of
Yeah,
like a iframe, I guess, but rather have it pop up as the player, so you can view it and listen to it and interact with it that way. I think that's a great idea for crypto voxels, and we're going to be in there bright and early. Well, 11 a.m. is not too early, but
yeah.
yeah, February 3rd, right here in Crypto Voxels, Atoms and Automatons. And I don't know, maybe that's putting you on the spot right now, but do you have your guitar with you next to you there?
I
You
mean,
would you?
it's downstairs.
Okay. I was just thinking maybe if you wanted to do a little something, a preview of something that you're working on, or even just like it just randomly popped in my mind. I didn't warn you in advance, but
I
what do
know,
you think?
right? Yeah. Hold on. Let me go grab it.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Like, what should I?
Whatever comes off the top of your dome.
Yeah, no, this is. I've played this a couple times for people in crypto voxels, but it's one of the newer ones I've been working on. I ran up the stairs a little out of breath. Darling, when the day comes and you're standing over my grave, only flowers will wither from the stone next to my name. Stone, don't shed your tears. The stone, don't feel no pain. The stone, just like time, won't remember your name. And time, it ain't on our sides, never was. Well, that's just a lie. They sold us to sell us because the flowers don't die. Don't be no pain. And the stone, just like time. I'll remember you, remember you, remember you. Every time today, roll the say, don't you bring it down today. Rose, I've got nothing to say. Darling, when the day comes and you're standing over my grave, don't need flowers will wither. Put a stone next to my name. Something
Nice
like
one,
that.
man. That was nice. You played that one in the Crypto Voxels or in Discord?
Yeah. It's I think I played it like once or twice. It's what I'm working on, like an album, right? Like I'll probably release as a bunch of singles and eventually release as an album, but that's one of the ones that I'm working on that I've written relatively recently. So
Nice. It's really nice, man. I like it.
thanks.
I like it.
Yeah, the lyric, the stone lyric came from my wife's uncle died, and her family's Jewish, and so we went to the funeral, and Jewish people don't put flowers on graves, they put stones because they last longer. And it was
Hmm.
just one of those things where I was like, it was one of those things that's like so beautifully like practical, and but also like, I don't know, it just really hit me. And so that's why I wrote the song.
Nice. Beautiful song, man.
Thanks.
And yeah, everyone gets to see it live or just saw it live in
Right.
CryptoVox. You know, um, I guess that's. Have you done live stream as well of your performance of the song, or was it just over the audio?
Just the audio. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm setting up a Twitch right now to like get streaming me playing music regularly.
Yes, I like that idea. And you can do it in your venue in CryptoVoxels too. Anyone who wants to come and jump in, you know.
I know, right?
Yeah, awesome. So any shout outs you want to give? Like, I mean, obviously Dab Dragon, amazing
Yeah,
work on
so
visuals.
I want to give a big shout out to Brendan Helgeson of Trash Lights. And I know they're going to be releasing some NFTs in the my guitar because he was the one, he produced this and he did a bunch of he produced and engineered it. We recorded it at his studio. It's called the Subterranaut Collective. Uh, Obviously, I want to give a big shout out to Jacob Bregman of Bone Police just for being a huge inspiration to me, like literally every day of our friendship. Uh, Obviously, a shout out to Jonathan Heinlein, Raging Bitcoin. And also to shout out to Sandy and Rizzle because they were like two of the first people that really welcomed me into this community. So I don't think I'd be sitting here if it weren't for just all those people. And I hope I didn't forget anybody. You know, oh, Easy too.
Mm.
Easy's pretty dope.
Yeah, it's such an amazing this is an amazing time right now, and
Yeah,
glad to share it with you here, both like doing this now, you know, a couple days ahead, as well as when it airs, because I think that what I like is set the interview to be a premiere. So it'll be a premiere. It'll premiere at 11:15 a.m. Pacific Standard Time
right.
in Beatrice Plaza, right for DAO drops, and everyone's going to be in here watching it all together at the same time.
Yeah,
I like the idea of doing that as a way to kind of give it a pseudo live feel, you know,
totally.
because Twitch, I guess we would have to do it straight live, but we'd be there. Maybe in the future it'll be easier to do it that way.
Right.
super
Yeah, we'll
super
figure it
live.
out.
Yeah, no doubt. Ian, thank you so much for talking. It feels so weird to interview you. I
I know,
don't know,
right?
because like
Yeah,
we have like conversations all the time. But anyway,
yeah,
yeah, it was super awesome hearing about the song, about the collaboration. Dab Dragon. Make sure you pick that up. It is out. It is out now. It is. And
yeah.
grab that audio NFT. It'll be on the wall. Go listen to the song on OpenSea, because OpenSea seems to be the new YouTube. You know what I mean? The new spot to go listen to music, and I think that's super cool. So thank you so much, and let's get to partying. Do the chicken dance, everybody. Let's go. Is there anything that you wanted me to add or put in that you think would be important, and I can just kind of cut it in after?
Yeah, I think I did want to talk a little bit about the production because I think it's I'm sort of like finding myself as an artist moving away from the singer songwriter and kind of moving into like exploring the studio as an instrument.
Mm-hmm.
And I've released studio stuff before, but this was like the first time that I played more than just guitar and drums because or guitar and sang because I played acoustic and I played electric and I played some of the percussion. I was playing some of the drums and like we were making a bunch of weird noises and so there's all sorts of so it's definitely atypical for what I release, but I'd like it to be more typical of what I release. Like I'm kind of expanding as an artist, and so this is sort of my first foray. And I think that was one of the reasons why I thought it would pair really well with being my first NFT release,
Mm-hmm.
is because it's like a unique song paired with like a unique medium. If that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think that part of the reason you kind of moved this direction, or to experiment a bit more on the production aspects, is because of the lack of live shows and being able to perform, um, at the club or the bar, and that you kind of had more time to focus on figuring out how you want to do music? Was would that be part of it, or is this just sort of something that you felt like you wanted to explore?
I think it's more the latter for me because my favorite part of music creation is the creating it. You know what I mean? And like I love recording. I love being in the studio, and and the more that I do it, the more I'm like, this is where like I love playing live shows, and it's definitely a passion of mine, and it's part of the experience as being a musician for me. But there's something to be said about taking your song and like refining it and filtering it down to reach this sort of like platonic ideal of what your music should be. That's like so fascinating for me because you come up with these ideas that you wouldn't necessarily have just playing it live or just rehearsing it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think this song is very different from how I wrote it because of the fact that we had so much time in the studio where we were just like we don't have a time limit. We're just gonna record this and make it what it should be, you know?
And was that with Jacob? You recorded it?
No, I recorded this with Brendan Helgeson,
Okay.
who is
Yeah.
he's in Trash Lights, and there's a period where he was in Blackheart Honeymoon as well. So it's like we have a sort of rotating roster of musicians. Like Blackheart Honeymoon's always sort of been like me and then whoever's playing with me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've got Steve, who's you've talked to Steve a couple times now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's coming over to my house. He's producing the record that we're recording. So because he also used to be he's in Trash Lights and he also used to be in Blackheart Honeymoon, and we were like talking about how I'm working on this record. And he's like, dude, I have to produce this because I know what you want.
All right, man. Have a good night there,
Yeah.
and we'll chat again tomorrow night.
Yeah. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay. All
All
right.
right.
Take care, bro. Bye.
You too. Bye.
Bye.